What's up? What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Food Community Podcast. I am Rich Homie Juan. I got my host with me as usual, LA Icon.
What up?
So we got a special guest in the building, Bootleg Kev.
What's up?
What's good? What's good?
Juan?
Rich
Juan.
homie Juan.
Does nobody know what he looks like?
Nobody.
It's important.
Why is it important?
Just because I feel like, when you run a site like Food Community, like a blog like that, like an IG page, I feel like being anonymous is key.
Do you know that people, well, we spoke about this briefly off camera just now, but like people can't do the math. Like Food Community has been around for what, 4 years now, Food?
Almost 5.
Okay. And I've been here for 3 months, but somehow I'm the owner of the Food Community and I'm responsible for all the posts ever.
Yeah, I bet you hear about it, huh?
To be fair, I'm not responsible neither. Page ran by staff.
Page ran by staff.
Facts.
That's a great cop out. Hey, page ran by staff. Who's the staff? I don't know.
I mean, we know who the staff is, but
These
shit.
guys downstairs.
Facts.
I won't say where you guys are at, but we're in a very interesting area.
Everyone, I think, knows that we're in the Skid Row district.
There it is. Shout out to Skid Row.
Yeah. I mean, no one's going to really want to come here. They don't know I got the bums on payroll. I do is,
How much human feces and all smoke do you got to dodge every day coming here?
Honestly, I have executive parking, so I don't deal with that type of shit.
God bless you. I did. We had to dodge some fumes. I saw some guy smoking. I said, let's just walk down the middle of the street.
It was probably
Probably. I mean, I feel like the crackheads somehow got turned on to fentanyl, and it used to be like they would tell you like this much fentanyl would kill you, or however little.
a grain of salt.
But now it's like they want. They're like desensitized to it. They're like super crackheads. Like
If you don't mind me asking, have you ever dabbled in any sort of drugs that might contain fentanyl?
no, I've never done any hard drugs. I've only done smoked weed and psychedelics.
Like what?
Just really shrooms and LSD.
Have you ever done DMT?
No, I'm scared.
I'm scared to do acid too, my boy.
I want to do DMT so bad, but I feel like
I heard it's only like a 5-minute thing.
15, yeah.
It's going to be a long 15, baby.
Well, you know what scared me is like I was going to do it with my boy John. Shout out to John. And he did it, and he told me that he lived like a 6-month life in his trip. He's like, I was gone for like 6 months. I got a new job. I got a girl. And so I was just like, I don't know, man. I know that. I just don't know if I want to have that experience. I know the chances of me having that experience are very slim, but I feel like I got to be ready. And I'm like still a little pussy to do it, to be honest. Like,
Have you had a bad trip yet?
yes, I have had a bad trip.
On LSD.
No, on shrooms.
What was that like?
I tell the story before. I was in Austin last year. I went with Freddie Gibbs when he. So, kind of like the main reason I kind of started like exploring psychedelics because I would always hear Joe Rogan talking about him.
He influenced you.
For sure. So, like we went to his like office where he does his podcast, and I was out there with Fred, and I was like, yo, we're in Austin for a night. Like I love Austin, been there a lot, so I was like, I just was determined to get. And we ended up at Kill Tony backstage, which is Tony Hinchcliffe's comedy show, and Joe Rogan was back there, and we're in the green room with him, and I brought chocolates, and I was like, hey. I was like, yo, you're the reason I do shrooms. Let's do shrooms together. And he was like, oh, no, I have to plan my shit out, So me and Freddie ended up splitting this.
Did Freddie have a bad trip?
We both were, I think my shit was up and they knew it. And so
It affected them?
No, at the time his girl knew that I was tripping. And she was just like, with me.
That's not cool.
And like at the time we're at like, if you know about Austin, there's like 6th Street where all the bars are. And we're in this bar and everyone's face in there looked like they were on cops. They were like censored. And Fred was paranoid because he like whispered in my ear. He was like, hey, you see those guys over there by the bar? He's like, hey, prepare to bust a move out the back. I think they're plotting on us. And I was like, my head exploded, bro. Because I was just like, fuck, I'm about to die with this fool. We're about to be all over academics tomorrow. Like we're in Texas. We don't even know nobody out here. So we ended up somehow escaping out of the back. And I'm not sure there was anybody with us. I feel like he was just like.
What did his girl say?
His girl at the time, they've broken up since she was just to me the whole time. She was making crazy faces.
But when you guys dipped, she didn't have nothing to say about that?
No, we just left. It was, and Brian Moses, shout out to Brian Moses, comedian. He was with us too. He got up that night off shrooms. He ended up at some white chick's house, and I guess he like fell on her stairs and he broke his nose. So we saw him the next day and he looked like someone jumped him. He was like, bro, ate shit in front of this girl's house. But yeah, it was for me, I don't remember how I got back to my hotel. I just remember it being like the most paranoid I'd ever been in my life. And I couldn't see anyone's faces. They all looked censored.
And you still taking shrooms since then?
Yeah, because I love shrooms.
You're a monster.
No, they're great. I can like eat a ton and still be like productive now. Like I was at last week, I had an event at the Dream Hotel, and the Baker Boys, shout out to Nick from the Baker Boys, he had this LSD spray. It's almost like a little like mace, like a thing of mace. And I was already shrooming hard, and I had a DJ, but I was shrooming, and then I took like 2 or 3 hits of the LSD spray, and I was on a sick one for sure.
What's it like tripping on LSD compared to shrooms?
So I've been like gone LSD. I've only done the like, I guess the microdose spray, if you would call it. I've never done like a tab or anything.
So that's a microdose in that spray.
Yeah. Like if you go to any of those sessions that they have like in LA, like they're selling them everywhere at the sessions.
I'd have to get it from the source directly because I don't want to get the one that's all watered down. I'm not down with the fentanyl whatsoever. I don't even like to take Tylenol if I don't have to.
No, I've never taken a pain pill in my life.
Really?
Never. And except Tylenol and aspirin, but I've never like taken like a...
Have you broken a bone or?
Yeah, I just won't do it because my whole family's drug addicts.
Oh, so you possibly have hereditary addictive personality.
Sure I already know I do for sure because all my family's all, had their battles with addiction. So
Are they good?
I mean, my dad's good. Everybody else, I had a cousin who died in prison.
Jeez. He OD'd on heroin?
No, he...
Got stabbed?
No, he had a heart issue from all the drugs he'd been doing over the years. And then I have another cousin who's in prison right now who was just like, he would rob all the drug dealers, but he was also smoking hella meth. Shout out to Sheldon.
Shout out to Sheldon, the Jack boy.
Yeah, he actually, I have an interesting cousin dynamic. I have one cousin who was in Arizona running the Aryan Brotherhood. And then my other cousin, Sheldon, was one of the main guys for the Mexican Mafia. They grew up together. And then they ended up locked up. One of them looks like the hardest chorus cholo you've ever seen in your life.
I believe it.
Shaved head, whole body's tattooed. He's got the Aztec. I mean, and then the other one is the opposite. White dude, all the white supremacist tattoos you could fit on a body. And they were in this, before my cousin Aaron died, rest in peace, they were in the same prison forever, kind of like low-key, like having like little issues, but nobody knew they were related. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, a lot of my family is like, I got an uncle who's just burnt out, bro. He used to like sneak into my house at night and he'd be on meth. He'd be picking his face in our sink and shit, like because he thought bugs were in his face, like.
Well, it looks like you don't look anything like damaged skinned ass fool, so that's good.
Yeah, no, I stayed away from drugs. I like weed though. Weed's cool. Shrooms are cool. I drink every once in a while. But I got through life all right. I just had good examples of. I could have went the other way,
You had good examples of fuckery.
Yeah, I had cousins who went the other way, who like ended up smoking crack and like being in jail, getting stabbed. Like other cousins besides the two that were like my main cousins growing up. Like, my aunt, my uncle. I mean, dude, I used to go to my aunt Renee and Uncle Scott's house. She just died too. Rest in
peace, Aunt Renee.
And like all the spoons would be burnt because they were doing heroin. So like I'd be over there with my cousin Matt and my cousin Amber, and we would have spoons that didn't have burnt on them from these doing heroin. So we'd be eating cereal with spoons that definitely at one point in time had heroin in them.
Damn, that's gonna be a clip when they're gonna call you a heroin baby. I'm sorry.
I mean, my mom didn't do any heroin. My mom was more like she was like a free spirit, She'd go like.
She's more on some hippie shit.
For sure.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Let's start at the very beginning. You said you grew up in Arizona.
Yes.
Phoenix?
Phoenix, yeah.
How many siblings did you have?
Just one.
Are you close with them?
Yeah. She's cool.
Oh, it's a she.
Yeah, my sister, yeah.
How old is that lady?
She was born in 92.
Oh, she's a fucking child.
So she's like 30.
Oh, okay. I guess not.
31.
Whenever I think of
31?
92, I just think of like young people.
Yeah, like I remember 92. I mean,
The riots.
Vague memories of 92. I was 5, you know, but I remember being 5.
When did you decide that you were gonna do some shit in hip hop? Did you ever try to freestyle? Like, is there like a secret bootleg Kev rap album?
There is, I have like a recording studio and a few of them actually at the place we're at. There's definitely audio recordings of me drunk freestyling the gayest shit ever on my studio computer.
Gay as in like homosexual?
Oh, for sure. Because, you know, gay guys, like white guys, like we love gay humor. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Alexis, my artist, will be recording, and if I'm in a...
And then you go in the booth with them?
I'm like, yo, let me get in here, bruh.
Pause.
Big pause. Nah, I never had like a actual... I never tried to be a rapper. I used to write raps like when I was like 13, 14.
Sounds like you try to be a rapper, my boy.
No, I never recorded any music or like had a rap name or...
It's Bootleg Kev.
I didn't get that name until like I was 19.
How did that name come about, Bootleg Kev?
So when I was in high school, like my senior year, I started to sell mixtapes and DVDs and purses and fake dunks. You remember those picture tees that were popping? So I used to make the picture tees with like 50 Cent's mugshot or Scarface.
That's hard
I
for
used to be at the swap meet, and that's kind of for like 2.5 years. That's how I supported myself and my kid at the time, my newborn kid. While I was doing that, I was working for free at the radio station. So I would just pull up to the station, and I'd have like a little like plastic bin of like fake jerseys,
My boy was pushing.
mixtapes or whatever.
Did he ever get in trouble for counterfeiting all that stuff?
Trouble. So.
Or any issues?
Yeah, I mean, I would go to the swap meet, and I got banned from every swap meet in Arizona, really. The one on like Buckeye and like 35th Avenue, but the main ones, I would just go and I'd send like someone else to buy my space for the day. So like the main one, which is by the racetrack on Washington, I would still go even though they banned me. I would just have like, a couple homies, because you would get like a parking lot space that you would set up shop in. And so I would have like homies on each end of the space that I would pay. I'd give them like $20. Like, hey, if you see the lady, because there's this lady on her go-kart or whatever, like give me a heads up if you see her around. So then if she drove by, I wouldn't be at the space. It would be at the time my baby mama or my
Whoever.
So I never got in trouble like with the law, but I got like kicked out of swap meets, and then I had a bunch of jerseys get hit by customs like 3 or 4 times. It's like U.S. Customs, like, you know, I'd take a bunch of people's orders, and then you would have to send the money to China through Western Union, and then you're just waiting, and then customs would hit, take your shit, and then you can try to go get your shit, but then they could also arrest you. Because they could be like, you know.
Did you ever try to go get your shit?
No, you just got to take the L. Yeah, so I never got, that's about the closest to getting like in real trouble. I was bootlegging MC Magic CD, Magic City, while I was an intern at the radio station. Man's copy. I told him this, and he used to, like back in the day, he got started at the swap meet. He would do songs for people on the spot at the swap meet. So like if you came through with your girl and it was your guys' anniversary, you could be like, here's $100, and in 20 minutes, Magic would have a custom version of like...
Something About You, Baby.
Right, whatever it is, right? So Magic was about to walk past our booth with his family, and I had like his CD out on the table before it even was out. And so that was a close call. But he knows about it now, so, you know.
Am I correct in saying you had mentioned that you had known him, like even
I met
previously?
Magic, bro. I met Magic at the swap meet when I was a little kid, bro. You understand? Like Magic was at the swap meet. He was like an extremely accessible person. So if you went to the swap meet on 40th Street in Washington and Phoenix, like MC Magic was there.
And this is before the fame type shit.
Yeah, like he was in a group called Nasty Boy Click, which turned into MB Riders. You know? But at the time, like Nasty Boy Click, when I was like a little kid, was like the most hot, like the closest thing to like a artist who made it in Phoenix. You know, like so. Yeah, I met Magic a bunch of times when I was a kid. Like just going to the swap meet, like that fool was there.
That's
like,
tight.
It's cool, like he's he's a legend now. So shout out to Magic. He's a sweet dude.
Shout out to MC Magic. Can't
Would you
wait to
say-
have you on the show.
Would you say that MC Magic's the most successful artist out of Arizona?
I mean, we have had artists that are like from Phoenix, like Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park.
That's kind of huge.
So I wouldn't say he's like the most successful artist from Phoenix, but I think in terms of like waving the Arizona flag, yeah, like Magic is the most successful hip hop artist in Arizona history. I mean, we've had guys like, there's really nobody close to Magic. Like, there's a kid named Futuristic.
Futuristic is not nobody.
No, he's not nobody. He's had a great career. But Magic is Magic. Like, Magic is selling out the Novo. You know?
No, yeah. I feel it.
Like, so yeah, I would say Magic's the most successful hip hop artist we've ever had. Like, there's been artists that have like Kiana Lede, who's a big R&B singer right now. She's from Phoenix. There's a band called Jimmy Eat World that's from Phoenix.
I feel like I've heard of Jimmy Eat World.
They're popping. Phoenix has got like, and we got a dope booming scene. We've had artists that almost made it, that got close to making it, that for whatever reason it didn't work out. But
I got a buddy named Bruce out of Mesa.
Bruce, I gotta check him out. I went to high school in Mesa.
That's right.
So shout out to
What do you think that is that nobody has really been able to hit that mainstream level out of Arizona?
I mean, I just think it's a matter of time, man. I think like this era of Arizona music has the best chance because they've kind of learned from, it was hard, I think, in the 2000s to not be in a major city and try to make it because unfortunately there was like real gatekeepers. Like nowadays, like you just go straight to your fan base. You upload a video tomorrow.
If get lucky.
Go on DistroKid.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom. So I just think it's a matter of time because we have a lot of like big talent artists. I think that for a long time, Arizona had like a lack of identity in terms of like, what was our sound. A lot of guys were making dated sounding shit. I think a lot of small towns, and Phoenix isn't a small town, it's like the 5th biggest city, but I think places that don't have a national identity in rap music, there's for whatever reason, a natural inclination to try to tear each other down because everybody wants to be the first to pop.
I totally feel that. I think it's the same thing in the Latino market as far as rap goes too. Same shit.
You're right. And I think that, I think it's been dope to kind of see this last like 4 or 5 years of just
Vicious progression.
Yeah, and like artists who are just I always say this like because I manage an artist who's Mexican, Alexis, who Food Community supported. Shout out to Food Community. I think like I always tell people like, yo, he's like, don't box him in as a Mexican artist. He's just a dope artist who happens to be Mexican, and I think unfortunately, like a lot of these artists who are Mexican are getting boxed in as Mexican rap. And it's like, well, if you listen to Bravo the Bag Chaser, he's just making rap. But like
I don't think you compare him to Little Rob.
But I'm saying, so if you think about like the era that I kind of came up.
Our era, essentially.
Right. Because I used to, be on the street team at radio stations and I'd be working the Lowrider show. And like Chicano rap was a real thing. Like High Power Records was like a real thing. It was like very like, this is for us. Like it'd be kind of hard for you to like be just like a random hip hop fan and like relate to like, whatever High Power was rapping about or Mr. Criminal or Mr. Capone. Cause it was like very like Chicano centric, Cholo centric, like shit that it was like, okay, well, that's why you saw someone like Baby Bash kind of take off because he was just making hits and he happened to be Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Little Rob had some crossover at radio. He had.
Is Baby Bash bigger than Little Rob?
For sure.
Really?
100%. Yeah. It's not even close. Baby Bash has platinum and gold records.
I'm mad at it.
I mean, Little Rob, though's got Summer Nights, which is a great record right next to the Pacific, to be specific. You know,
I never really thought about Baby Bash. I don't consider Baby Bash Chicano rap.
he's not, and that was my point. Is during that era, he used to hate getting boxed in
I would too.
because Bash was like making Cyclone with T-Pain, and he was making Baby I'm Back with Akon, and Sugar's one of the biggest. I mean, Jesus Christ, Sugar. Shout out to Frankie J. Like that's a smash. Like Bash was an artist who was making hits who happened to be Mexican, but for whatever reason, you know, motherfuckers would still try to box you in. And like, shout out to Little Rob. Like Little Rob, fucking legend. Like I've heard a lot of Little Rob shit. Same thing with Magic. You know, even like Magic makes love music. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they would try to box Magic in with like, you know, some of the more like Chicano heavy shit. And it's like Magic's making love songs. He's trying to kind of carry Roger Troutman's flag. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's dope to see like the new generation, you know, the Pesos of the world, the Swifty Blues of the world. Rest in peace to Money Sign Suede. I just had Bravo on the other day. I saw he was on with you. Mm-hmm. Shit, Alexis, Mexican OT. I think the Texas guys are fire.
They're definitely making a large splash. That Mexican. Who do you like better, Mexican OT or D Baby?
Mexican OT. I just think I like D Baby a lot. I think he's dope. I just think that Mexican OT is like an elite level rapper.
I feel that.
Like that Mexican OT could get in a cypher and blast like everybody. And then he's got a style. Like I've never seen somebody roll their R's when there's no R's.
That's a thing.
And like the way his wordplay is insane. His influences will like show you like, oh, this fool grew up listening to like Hobson and like.
Oh yeah, he had mentioned that. That's right.
Know, and like Yellow Wolf and like shit
Eminem.
like Big L and Eminem and so like when you hear his album Lone Star Luchador, like there's like records on there that like you'll hear like, oh, he has a song on there called Brienne, and that's like some like Eminem Kim type shit. You're like, oh, this shit is like different. Like D Baby's dope. And again, like I think that's what's Texas, for whatever reason, man, they got a fucking wave going right now. Shout out to Texas, man. I respect a lot of the artists out of there right now, like Big X the Plug. And,
You just had Big X over there, right?
yeah.
No, that's right.
Would you say that Texas Hispanics right now are making more noise than Cali Hispanics when it comes down to rap?
I think that Mexican OT's making more noise than any Mexican rapper has ever made, probably ever, nationally. I mean, he was just on Flagrant 2, you know, with Andrew Scholes.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's out of here.
You know? Announced his tour nationally, and I think it's almost already sold out. Now, I think the groundwork that a lot of the Mexican artists from Cali have put in the last 3 or 4 years is impressive, because I think it's kind of like laying the foundation for, you know, whoever that person is going to be out of LA. You know, it might be Swifty Blue, it might be Peso whenever he gets out. I don't know when that's going to happen, but you know, I think you know, I just had this conversation. Have you heard of On the Radar, the freestyle series? Gabe.
I feel like
Drake and Central C do a freestyle.
I feel like I've heard of On the Radar.
Right, they're big, green background. I mean,
Yeah.
they're popping. So he came to LA and he did a LA cipher, and he was or a Cali cipher, West Coast cipher, and he's a big freestyle platform. And he was like, "Who am I missing?" And I was like, "Bro, you gotta have a Mexican artist on this thing. Like, this shit's crazy. Like, you're coming to the West Coast." He didn't end up putting anyone on, but you know, I just was like, I think that like,
Who would you have recommended to be on there?
I think for a cipher, Coyote.
I respect it. I like that answer. That was well thought.
For a cipher, yeah, I think the Coyote Boys would murder that shit for sure. Yeah, they're fire, and they're
You
like
think they're underrated?
super underrated, and they're like just really good dudes.
I like them.
Super cool dude. Like them the kind of guys I'd hang out with those guys. You know?
They got a Shaq feature that's dropping.
I know I was supposed to be at the video shoot. Alexis went. I'm so mad. I had
I was in Mexico. I was supposed to be there too.
I was my family was in town. I think we went to the beach that day. I was like, my parents were in town, and
So you don't want to take your parents to see Shaq, is what you're saying?
I mean, dude, if you know where the Pro Club warehouse is compared to where I live,
I know exactly where it's at.
mission.
It's fucking
I live in
far.
the valley, bro. So like,
It's not that bad now that you said that, but I feel you. I feel your pain, absolutely.
and I've never met Shaq. And
If you're saying fucking Chatsworth, okay, some shit like that's far as fuck. But if you're gonna tell me
yeah, but
Pacoima,
Chatsworth is close to me because I'm in the valley.
don't dox it. We're good.
I'm like, yeah, I'll go to Chatsworth. I got across, you know.
You're a fool. Let's take it back a little. Let's circle back just a tad. How did you end up interning at the radio? How'd you get there? What sparked that?
Yeah, so
Because you're right there bootlegging shit. So how does?
Yeah, so I went to high school in Mesa. I moved to Mesa when I was 13 from Phoenix. Went to high school, a place called Westwood High, and where I went to school, there's a vocational school in the area that the local high schools, they could choose to go to this vocational school for 2 hours a day as their elective. So I didn't have to take my elective credit at my home school. So I picked radio broadcasting because I was always a hip hop head, and I was always a smart ass. And you know, I just figured it'd be like I was always into radio. So you know, I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. Instead of like taking like shop or something, let me do radio broadcasting. You can learn Pro Tools and shit. So I did that, and then I had two friends. One of my friends, my friend Gio, was interning at Power 98.3 in Phoenix. And then right when I was about to graduate, you know, I had him kind of bothering the promotions director, a guy named Dion, about me. So as soon as I graduated, I started as an intern. And at the time, you had to get like college credit to be an intern there. But I got college credit the first semester, but I ended up interning for free for 4 semesters, so a year, and only got credit the first time. But yeah, so I worked there, setting up tents and just being a bitch boy, I guess, for a while.
So you went from essentially being a roadie to an on-air personality. Maybe one of the biggest.
Kind of, yeah, like
I don't want to say roadie,
no,
but
essentially, yeah. I mean, that's what we did.
from a grip, you went from a gaffer to the man.
We were setting up tents and putting speakers on speaker stands.
Have you ever dropped an expensive ass speaker?
For sure. Oh my God.
As an intern.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How much trouble did you get in?
I didn't get in any trouble.
That's fucking fire.
We used to sell you know, we'd get like tickets, and you know, shout out to my guy Danny Whispers. He's not in radio anymore, but I was like, kind of like everybody kind of who was on the street. Well, Danny Whispers, not everybody, kind of saw that I was like, I had a future in this shit, you know. So he trusted me.
That's love.
We used to take the tickets that we were supposed to give away. Fucking hit licks.
In true bootleg fashion.
All day hitting licks. Like we'd have like a brick of arena football tickets for the Arizona Rattlers, and we'd pull up to the game and we wouldn't even set up like we were supposed to. We would just pull up to the corner. All the fucking scalpers would come over, and we'd be like, "Who's the highest bidder for this brick of tickets?" And then we just split it, go home. Shout out to
fire.
Yeah. There was a bunch of like ways to hustle. Like promotional CDs used to be a thing. So like labels would send out.
I'm familiar. A little 3-banger sample pack.
No, just like the actual album. But
shit.
A drill. They would drill a hole in the corner of the case, or they'd put a sticker on it that said for promotional use only, and they'd like X out the barcode. But like the warehouse at the time,
getting those off all day.
Oh, I'd pull up to the warehouse. I mean, I was stealing so many CDs from the radio station. That's how I was working for free while trying to support a newborn kid. So I was hitting licks left and right. But yeah, they knew me at the warehouse. I'd come through just like,
sup.
Yeah. Sometimes it'd be before the shit would be out because they'd be like, we can't buy it yet. I'm like, fuck.
You're down, fool. That's tight. So damn. At what point? Who gave you your chance to be on air? Who gave you your first like, hey, try it out, Buckaroo?
So I used to get on the air a little bit when I was the intern for the morning show. But the first person to like give me a real opportunity to like do a real on air shift was a girl named Carly Hustle. I did a call in from like a remote, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put you on the air this weekend." Carly's now, she works at Apple Music. She's like a big deal in the music industry.
Shout out to Carly Hustle.
She's a legend. Shout out to Carly. But yeah, she's the first person that really probably was like, literally, she was like, "Yo, I'm putting you on the air this weekend." I was like, oh my God.
Thanks.
Lit. So I would say that, her, and then the Nuts in the Morning, which is Joey Boy and Jay Filla.
Are you still in contact with these nice people? Mm-hmm. It's fucking amazing,
Joey Boy,
dude.
Joey Boy's a part of my wedding. He's the guy who named me Bootleg Kev.
That's right.
That's just what they just call me on the air. They're like, guys, I would come with like the little like cart with wheels on it.
No, like
full
you
of
said,
shit.
full of everything.
Yeah. What do y'all need? And then if I didn't have it, I'm like, what do y'all want?
Mm-hmm.
I got you. Like I had a list that the Asian lady would send me. I would do like a mass print of like this list and drop it off on every salesperson's desk at the radio station and then take their orders. And I still owe some people some money because their shit got hit by customs.
When was the last time someone messaged you about an old ass order like that?
No, it's never happened. I've had people message me from.
Hey, Kevin, I haven't forgot about my f***ing Jordan
I
jersey.
had a few people just hit me that remember me from the swap meet because I was like their mixtape guy.
That's right.
So, you know, I used to be like the main guy with all the like G Unit radios and Gangsta Grills and Southern Smokes. And there's people who remember me from like actually being like, bro, am I tripping or were you at the swap meet like in 2007 or 6? I'm like, yeah, that was me.
So it's safe to say your knowledge on hip hop is vast. You're a hip hop Britannica.
I know quite a bit. It's been my life since I was probably 5. I mean, hip hop and basketball has been like my 2 obsessions.
That's amazing. You interviewed someone else at Hip Hop Britannica, according to me, at least. Lush One.
Yeah, it's funny because him and I kind of bonded off the air.
How does that happen? Oh, off of hip hop knowledge.
Yeah.
Hey, that was.
Yeah, because him and I were talking about like, you know, because I don't think he understood that like I'm like a real like hip hop head, you know. Like I grew up going to Dilated Peoples concerts. Like my best friend's brother's in Dilated Peoples.
Which member?
Rocka, Ira Science.
I'm familiar with Rocka.
I've known Ira Science since I was 12, bro. Like I used to come out to LA from Arizona with my best friend Ramses. He would drive because he was 4 years older than me. And we went to like the Expansion Team album release party.
Fire.
Got to hang out with Jurassic 5 as a kid. Got to hang out
Shout out to Akil.
with the Licks, you know, Cash, King T.
I saw King T like
Far Eye.
last week at a backyard rapping. That shit was
fucking
crazy.
The Far Eye. I was at Fat Beats when I was 14, just sitting in the back office.
That's fire.
Yeah, so like me and Lush definitely bonded on that because he's a hip hop head for sure.
Did you ever go to Project Blowed?
No, but I'd always heard about it.
Legendary.
You got to understand, like the only times I'd came to LA were for 2 Dilated Peoples events. So I came to LA. So the first time I saw Dilated, I was 12 or 13. It was a concert at Nita's Hideaway in Phoenix is when the Platform came out. So that's their first major label album that had like worked the angles on it. And then we came to LA for Expansion Team, the release party and the show, which was crazy because like to see them, I forget what venue they were at. Fuck.
Are you familiar with DJ Lime Green?
Mm-mm.
He's the one that introduced me to like when I first met the homies from Dilated. It was through DJ Lime Green. I met
Yeah,
them.
so like, you know, seeing like the Beat Junkies and like, you know, fucking even like a guy like Bus Driver who was like a fucking
Legend.
Roscoe and fucking Planet Asia.
Shout out to Planet Asia.
And
That's lit.
so, and then we came back a few years later when Neighborhood Watch came out and they were on tour with Kanye. They opened for Kanye West.
Sick.
So I got to go to that. Both, they did 2 back-to-back nights at the House of Blues. I think it was on Sunset. I was a kid. I don't remember. I just remember it was at the House of Blues.
The House of Blues on Sunset, probably. Yes, that's the only one that's been closed down over here.
Right. So Dilated opened for Kanye. And we came to LA because it was around the time of their release party. And that shit was cool. And I was probably 16 at the time when we did that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I love hip hop, man. It's my life.
What'd you think about Lush One and how he exited the other platform I'm a part of?
I mean, listen, I only consumed Lush One's content on No Jumper. And I always thought he was I said it in an interview and then he kind of talked shit about me.
That's right.
I think I just never was a fan of like him on the platform.
Really?
Never crazy about him. Like didn't hate him, but at times I just felt like he was like, I just felt like he just agreed to a lot with Adam all the time.
So it was just hella agreeable.
Right. And whatever, you know, I don't know much about Lush. I know obviously Disaster. I'm not a big, that is one part of hip hop.
You don't f- with battle rap, Kev?
No, so as a kid, yes. But this whole like last 10 years, Murder
What?
Moose, none of that shit. It's just not my thing, bro. Just
So
like
what part of battle rap? The Smack DVDs?
Yeah. Smack DVDs and then like Juice and Supernatural.
Oh, that's a vibe. Supernat's the
So
legend.
like that, but I never got into like, bro, like one of the biggest battle rappers in the world is Rum Nitty from Phoenix.
He's up there.
Yeah, he's up there. But it's just, I just never engaged in it. Like I think
That shit's hard, bro.
it is cool, but I think like, I don't know, man. There's just something about battle rap that I've seen so much of that shit with my own eyes in person when it was like real people freestyling. And it wasn't like
As opposed to
predetermined verses.
yes.
And like your man's in the corner rapping your lines with you.
That shit's tight, but I totally feel the vibe of seeing Supernat annihilate someone and talk about like
Or even like
whatever.
Proof. Like I remember seeing Proof.
Proof is sick.
Like, so it's like, also like, yeah, it just never like grabbed me. Like I used to sell Smack DVDs. So, you know what I mean? So I used to have all.
You're a fool.
But like, yeah, just I was telling that to Disaster because he came with Lush.
Disaster was hella sad.
No, he kind of got it, you know? I'm like, hey, I understand. I know who the big guys are, but like, I'm not on World. Like they used to always be on World Star, the battles.
Really?
Yeah.
I never watched him on World Star. I always just watch him on King of the Dot or URL.
And then like I had a homie who's free my guy Interstate Fats.
Wow. Shout out to fucking Interstate Fats. I met him with Kid Frost a million years ago.
That's my brother for real. He's in prison right now.
He's locked up?
Yeah.
Fuck. Free Fats.
Yeah.
How long is he doing, fool?
He's good, man. He's just keeping his head
How long is he doing?
up. He's gonna be in there a while. Yeah. He had his I don't want to talk too much about his business, but he had a serious offense that involved the dark web and certain illicit substances that he has been in trouble for before.
Oh, I totally feel it.
So free him.
Free him.
One of my favorite rappers ever. Like if you just needed somebody to just rap some shit in front of you and you'd be like,
Fats is going to lay it on him. Pause.
yeah. So like that was probably the last time I was like pretty engaged in the battle scene because I was living in Vegas at the time and they have the A-Hat battles in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And like Fats was like my friend, you know? So I would really support him. But yeah, it just never was a thing I got into. But Lush, you know, once like I saw him say what he said on whatever the I don't want to fuck up the guy's names whose podcast he was on. They're from out here. He like talked shit and it went viral. But then later on in the interview, he was like giving me props. You know, he was like, yo, all bullshit aside, like I respect Kev. He's interviewed a lot of people I respect. Like, and then once we met, he's a super sweet guy.
He's great.
Yeah, he's a great dude. I think like he definitely like, you know, from what I gather, like certain people react to getting, I don't want to use the word clout because that sounds negative, but getting like attention differently.
Getting fame.
Yeah, and I think that like I've seen some clips of him like really crashing out on his
There's some famous ones.
and you know, I think he's from what I gather from Lush, he's a really good dude.
No, I like him.
And I
He's
think
cool. Made some unique choices, but
yeah, I think obviously like the way he left, you know, I can't blame Adam for feeling a type of way. I think the way Lush handled it after, I'm like real high on like not burning bridges and not having like unnecessary beefs.
even a small lighter can burn one.
You know, it's like I think he even said it. I saw a clip of him talking about like, you guys only watch me when I talk about this guy, so I'm gonna give you what you want. But I think like I would like to have seen Lush do more interviews with like the people we're talking about.
Absolutely, and he would have done amazing.
And I think if he
would have focused more on the craft and less on the bullshit.
yeah, and I was hoping to see that from him. And it's not over yet for him.
Absolutely not.
But I would like to see him do more content that is like, hey, bro, like you're in this shit for real. So like, talk to these guys. Like, you know, like it might not be the views or the money you're looking for, but I also think like a lot of folks like don't understand like Lush probably. I think he did something with a different company. That is like the head of his podcast or something. I could be wrong. The pop-up, right?
The pop-up, yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rick.
But I think like if I'm Lush, you know, I leave no jumper and I'm doing that shit on my own. Like you got relationships, just like do your thing and like build it slowly. Like to me, the low hanging shit is like you could do the Adam 22 shit talk, but like move on after a while. You know what I mean?
Since we're talking about good old Deuce, where do you actually land in regards to him and
You still work there?
Yeah.
You still do the news?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where do you actually land on? Because you do both. I've seen you interview
So where do I land on what? I'll let you finish the whole question.
as far as like just I don't want to say whose side are you on, but as far as like the Figmunity world and No Jumper and all that. Because I see that you've done content with both, which is
Yeah,
I mean
so
your
I've been-
prerogative. Whatever.
People like full context. I've been friends with AD for a long time.
I've shot a music video that we didn't complete like 15 years ago for AD. So
Yeah.
I totally
So I've
feel
known AD for a very long time. I consider AD like a friend.
that's dope.
Like an OG friend. Same thing with Pun. I've known Pun since he was managing Problem. T-Rel has been nothing but cool. Super cool fucking dude, man. Super talented guy, too. Very likable guy. I think that the truth always lies somewhere in the middle. I think it's extremely possible for two things to be true at the same time. I think
That's a very fucking unique answer, sir.
well, it's because this is the thing. I think it's obvious that, I mean, I think they've confirmed it, but AD and T-Row and those guys were going to leave either way. I think that, you know, at least the narrative that I got was, hey, you're trying to replace me on one of these shows. The behind the back talk about the same jokes. Perfect opportunity to turn that into wrestling, if you will. This is a nice reason to leave. It gives you some heat when you leave, so people kind of choose sides. So I think that, you know, AD, at least from what I saw, was being pretty diplomatic. Now, there was people on Community that weren't being as diplomatic when it came to Adam, right? I think Adam got a pretty rough shake in terms of like, that was a really rough week for him, right? Because that happened. That I was there the day that dude pulled up on the stream who did the pedo shit or whatever. I remember I was actually like that was right after we recorded the show that was the first show without Lush.
I think I actually met you that day
Yeah, that's
because I had left right when you guys started your shit.
Yeah, I think Adam had a rough go. I mean, this is what I'll say about Adam, dude. Is like one, I think that like it sucks to see two reasonable parties beefing because it's like, hey, it could have been time for you guys to leave and do your own thing without the theatrics of like, hey, we're leaving because of this. Because now it's like you're kind of making fans choose, which I mean, a lot of fans did choose, right? I think Adam could be like a little bit more. I think he was quiet for a while though. That's the thing. Is like I feel like Adam kind of wasn't popping all the shit he's been popping in the last month.
I think it would have been wild if he would have done what he's doing now in the
Right
beginning.
away.
That would have been crazy.
That would have been crazy. But I think he also like, bro, he was getting so much shit thrown at him for that period of time.
No, it was vicious.
It was super vicious. And like I think like the stuff with that dude brought up that resurfaced, I'm like, this guy's already addressed this like years ago. Like, you know, I think that I just wish that it was a more of a cleaner break. You know
I
what I'm
feel it.
saying? Because everyone is reasonable. Like 80's a reasonable, good dude. Adam is a reasonable guy. Now, Adam also understands the internet. And it's like leading into this villain phase right now. That's like crazy. But, you know, I hope that they eventually do like a reunion show. I'm sure one day they will. But like, it's like when T-Rail like was at the live show and was like screaming jumper. And he even like admitted, I probably shouldn't have did that. You know, but it's like, at the end of the day, man, like, I just feel, like I said, I'm not into burning bridges or like, you know, if I'm gonna burn a bridge, it's gonna be because it has to be burned. It's like, I don't feel like anything happened that nobody could come back from. So it would be nice to see those guys eventually move the on. Back on Fig just celebrated 100 episodes. Yeah.
Shout out to them.
And everyone's talented. No Jumper's doing very well. I like the new cast. I like Brick Baby on there. The whack shit's very entertaining. I feel like there's enough internet real estate for everybody to win. You know what I'm
Absolutely. Everyone got their shit.
saying? 100%. You know, it's like Adam is leaning into the shit right now, though. God bless him.
He's down.
He's
down
like
as
Paul Heyman right now. He's like, pull up on me. He's cutting promos anytime. Like, he came on my show and pretty much cut a promo. He was like, yo, get 1 million views. I challenge you to get him. I was just like, oh, not here, but all right, you know. But it is what it is. Like, those guys also understand that what's going on. This is internet shit. At the end of the day, man.
How much can you get away with and say is just for content before shit gets too real, you think? And I'm not saying for Adam. I've just heard other gangster rappers and other people say things like it's just for content.
This is what I'll say. I am not a fan of...
Would you saying it's... Go ahead, actually,
Well, I was
finish.
gonna say, I'm just not a fan of like everything being content. Everything.
Everything should not be content.
Yeah, and I think that, and not even to point out No Jumper or anybody in particular, right? But like, there's like a lot of gang politics getting discussed on a lot of platforms that aren't No Jumper, right? And I feel like it's not clout, but yeah, clout. It's like views, likes. It's a hit of dopamine. So you're gonna do what you feel like. Don't like if you pop up on a show and like people gravitate to you, you're gonna be like, oh, I need to do more of this, you know? And to me, it's like
That's slightly crashing out to me.
you have to be very like conscious of like that shit, because the shit that we're talking about is very temporary. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so if you're gonna build something sustainable, you got to be more than that. Like that's when we're talking about Lush. Like I would have loved to have seen Lush, and I hope he sees this and you know he knows I'm not coming at him from a hating place. I would have loved to have seen Lush leave No Jumper and just stay 10 tones down. It's like, it's all good. I'm going to do me now. I'm going to take what I had going on, and I'm going to interview battle rappers. I'm going to interview, you know, all these artists who I've known and built up reputation with over the years, and I'm going to come at this from a different perspective, from somebody who's like a real head. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But like, again, it's like with the gang shit, you know, it's like that's why I give props to Brick Baby, because Brick Baby's been in situations where he could have just been like a unreasonable gang member on that show, and he was like a professional. And you know, it's dope to see a guy like him where you're like, okay, I've known Brick Baby for a very long time.
Do you know Milk Tyson by any chance?
I don't know Milk Tyson. That name sounds super familiar.
It's synonymous with Brick as far as I'm concerned.
I used to, because I'm real tight with Kid Ink and DJ Ill Will.
Definitely, then yeah, you probably have passed.
Maybe.
Milk.
I mean, Kid Ink is like, you know, one of my closest friends in the music industry. But I think he approaches, you know, in the same way that T-Rail was doing with T-Rail. Like, I thought it was dope when T-Rail sat down with Jay Stone on No Jumper, because that was like a big thing to do, you know? Like,
That's crazy.
and I just think that, like you said, like, not everything's for content. Like, at the end of the day, like, everybody's got families, everybody's got kids.
Absolutely.
Everybody's just trying to make it, bro. So like, yo, like everybody can make it. That's why I don't know if you notice about me, I don't really get into a lot of the
Bullshit.
the weeds. I try not to I don't need anybody like affiliating me with like too much negativity, unless they stand up and walk out of an interview like ESTG did. Shout out to him.
What was that experience like?
It was just, he was filming. It was so random. Yo.
Like when he walked out, did he have an aggressive nature about him or anything like that? Or
Okay. This is the first time I told this story because this shit's hilarious. So like my compound, you've been there. So like in order to get to the front of my studio, there's like a little black gate that like leads to the front door. So it's like a little square almost.
I totally feel it.
So backstory about the interview. I'm really tight with CMG, his label. Yo Gotti's the homie. The new girl that they just hired, Brittany, is one of my closest friends in all of music. I love her.
Shout out Brittany.
She's a sweetheart. So, I mean, I've interviewed everyone on CMG. I've interviewed Moneybagg Yo probably more than anybody, 5 or 6 times. You know, like Big Boogie. Glorilla, everybody. So Brittany calls me and she's like, "Hey, do you know how I can get ESTG on Joe Rogan?" And I just kind of like laughed because I was like, "What? What makes you think I can do that?" You know, Freddie was on. Everyone knows I'm like really close with Fred. I was like, "Look, I just know that like he only puts people on the show he like is a fan of. Like, there's no like process, you know, like. So she's like, well, look, he wants to do your show, and we want to like. He's got a bunch of like interests that nobody knows about, you know, like he's into like a lot of shit that nobody knows about. And with this next press run, we want to kind of show his personality a bit because people just kind of know ESTG is the guy who talks about selling fentanyl and, you know, his ops, you know? So I was like, yo, that sounds amazing. I'm down, you know? And like they kind of know at CMG, like I have great interviews. Like my interview with Glorilla, I think is the best interview she's ever done. We got high as balls and just laughed for like 2 hours. It was amazing. So I'm a fan of ESTG. A big fan. I actually love his music. So I was like, this is going to be dope. I'm excited at this point. So interview day comes. He's about an hour and a half late. Like he's late. And I would have canceled. But like Brittany flew in from New York or wherever she's living now. I was like, nah, it's cool. We'll wait. You know, we'll wait. It's all good. I pushed whatever was after back. I think Brick Baby was after, actually. I pushed it back. And so he comes in late. And I'm not tripping. Rappers have been late before. It just is what it is. But he like sits down and like, he just doesn't want to be here, bro. Like, I heard the night before he was on the LA Leakers, but it took him like 3 hours to record his freestyle. So he had a late night. Like
3 hours.
That's what I heard. So she just is not the guy who wants to be interviewed.
He just, the vibe wasn't there.
Huh?
His energy was off.
Vibe, right? Zero vibe. But again, I'm like approaching this interview like, okay, it's all good. I've had those kind of interviews before and they ended up being really good. So we just started doing the interview and like I told him, I said, oh, I heard you're a big Joe Rogan head. You know what I'm saying? Like, what got you into Joe Rogan or whatever? And he was like, yeah, I just started watching it. Like, I just started watching it. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, so what you think? Like, you been paying attention to the alien shit he be talking about? Like, with these aliens, you know what I mean? He just acted like I asked him, like, you know.
I saw that clip where he was like, you asking me about aliens and shit.
Well, no, that's what he posted on his story.
Oh, yeah.
Then we start talking and like, again, I'm all about, if I do an interview with somebody, I want us to small talk and shoot the shit until we kind of come here on something and we can elaborate a little more.
Yes.
Oh, cool. We hit the pavement on something that we both kind of know about. So now we can shoot. You know, I'm not like. So he has like these giant chains on, huge, and I was just like, you know, hey, I was like, hey, like when you're ESTG and you're as popping as you are, do like jewelers look out for you, like, cause you give them promo? And he's like, we don't do discounted jewels over here. And I was like, yeah, no, I wasn't saying like your shit was fake. I was just like asking, like, if I was a jeweler, I'd want to hook you up, you know? And I was like, I didn't say you had Brian Pumper jewels, you know? And he was like, who's Brian Pumper?
How old is this fool?
I don't know. And mind you, I'm probably getting a lot of this wrong. It's on YouTube if you want to go watch it. But I was like, then explaining to him who Brian Pumper was. And he got kind of like weirded out that we were talking about a porn guy. And I was like, nah, but it's Brian Pumper, bro. Like he turned out Lawrence Fishburne's daughter, you know, like he's legend, you know. And whatever. So he ended up getting like a little. I asked him about being in the NFL Combine, and I think he actually like thought that I saw from what I had heard from a few people before he got there. I was watching highlights on YouTube with my boy from the label. Like I was just I typed in ESTG football highlights. And like the thumbnail of one of the videos is him in a fucking Combine jersey. So I'm like, oh, and I literally watched
the whole shit.
I watched football highlights of this guy fucking cracking fools, you know? But I guess from what people told me after was I guess somebody had dissed him and like in their music video, they used that picture. So I asked him, I said, oh, you did the Combine, right? And he seemed a little and I was like, I saw a picture of you, you know, in the Combine jersey. And I didn't put it together until later because he had asked me, what video did you watch? Which video did you watch? And I was like, bro, I don't know. I was like, I typed in ESTG football highlights. But I had mentioned the jersey he was in. And
it was more of for him, it was more of a reference to the diss track.
I think he thinks that that's what I saw. But I didn't see that.
You saw him playing football.
Yeah. And so I think he already was just over me.
I was like, oh, he's trying to bring up the diss track.
Whatever, which I would never do. whatever. Like I'm not gonna
Cap.
bring that. I'm not gonna bring that shit up, bro, because I don't give a fuck to add to any fire that anybody or anyone's losing. Yeah. So he was like, "What's that got to do with my album?" And then I asked him a Yo Gotti question. He stood up and walked out. And it was funny because I kind of knew as soon as he stood up, I was like, "Oh, this is about to go crazy."
At least he didn't take off on you.
So he goes into the
I mean, he took off on you, but not like that.
my main studio, and he gets trapped in a little. Because you have to have a key to get in and out.
Yes.
So he gets trapped.
My boy's trapped in the box.
So the label chick, Brittany, my girl Brittany, she's like, "Hey, you guys got to let him out. He's over here at the door. He can't get out." So then this fool has to get him and let him out and squeeze through them. After this awkward walkout. I mean, look, I think EST.
That would have been lit if you would have did it.
I think he's a great artist. I think I like his music a lot. I think he makes some of the best street music out right now. I don't take any of it personal. I think he took it.
Because you know that fool fucking crack you, big ass linebacker ass.
And like, he's right, because I posted that shit quick because I knew what was gonna happen. I knew I mean just because I'm on the radio side, so I know the label's gonna call me and say, "Hey, don't drop that."
Nah, we're dropping that shit.
So I
2
told
days.
this fool right away. I said, "Hey, upload that bitch right now, right the fuck." We had that bitch up 45 minutes to an hour maybe after he left, live on YouTube. By the time I was interviewing Brick Baby, when that shit was off, my phone was on.
100K.
And so then he posted whatever he posted. He was like, "You're asking me about aliens and retired porn stars and the NFL Combine. What's that got to do with my album? You're chasing a moment or trying to go viral." And I'm like, yes. You stood up and walked out. And guess what? It worked out for both of us. Great viral clip for me. And everybody, they did a write-up about the clip and his album on TMZ.
Boom.
Hella people knew about his album. I mean, for what all I know, he's a cool dude. I didn't get those vibes from him at the time because we had a very anecdotal situation where he probably didn't want to do press that day. And he didn't like my vibe. So we definitely got off to the wrong foot, but I don't take it. It was cool.
Is that the most awkward thing that's ever happened to you in an interview? Tell me what's the first thing that came to your mind, sir?
I'm just trying to think. Oh, no. When me and DJ Head were interviewing
Shout out to DJ Head.
Kevin Gates.
Classic.
Well.
It was
Tell us about that.
Similar type of vibe where like Gates, he didn't just get out of prison. He'd been out for a while, a few months. I think maybe like even 6 months.
How long was he down during that little term?
I don't even know. I think at least a year.
So yeah, my boy wasn't highly institutionalized and completely unsocialized.
Well, listen. Again, I'm a huge fan of Kevin Gates. And since then,
I have 2 phones.
I mean, he's amazing. Me too. I got 2. So like I'm excited to interview Kevin Gates. Like I'm a fan. Like for real. Like I lived in the South when he was popping. So.
That's right.
So he came in and again like didn't want to be there. There was other things he'd rather be doing that night. It's late at night. It's like 10 o'clock. So he prays before the interview, which I think he does a lot. So he asked us to leave. So he prayed to Allah, and I'm like, cool. He prayed. He's solid. We about to have a good interview. He's, nah, he was not with us. Well, he wasn't with us. I just think he was just on the edge, bro. And like Head was the kind of guy who talks with his hands and like brushed his shoulder. And that's when he was like,
I recall.
"Hey, please don't touch me. I feel like I'm being interrogated right now. Please don't touch me." You know what I mean? And so it was awkward. And I finished the interview out, though. I got it past the finish line. The interview was over. After the interview, we ended up hanging out with him for like an hour and a half. And he's like the coolest dude. And he's like, "Man, I wish we would have started the interview now because I really fuck with y'all." And he played us his album. And again, that was a situation where we put the interview out without like clearing it with the label. And they're like, "You guys take it down." And at a certain point, you just got to be like, "Guys, it's out." Like they asked me to take down the ESTG thing like 6 hours after it was out. And I'm like, it's out. Like it's already viral. Like who cares? Like I think like, labels, like it's their job to protect their artists. And I respect it, Artists don't want to look crazy and the labels don't want their artists to look crazy. And it's their job to kind of protect them. At the same time, like certain situations, like ESTG walking out of an interview, that doesn't hurt him. You know, it's not like he did anything like, I mean, you can.
It wasn't super malicious.
Yeah, it wasn't super malicious, and it wasn't like he said anything crazy. Like, he just stood up and walked out.
Like, yeah, fuck this, I'm out.
It's kind of like harmless, and it's like it's gonna help you promote your album. And then he came out with a fire LA Leakers freestyle. The freestyle was fucking crazy.
Took 3 hours.
Took a while, but it was worth it. I'm a lot of artists, you gotta understand, and I gotta give artists the benefit, because listen, man, a lot of these guys will write some shit right before they get to the radio station, and they don't know it yet.
That's rough.
It's rough.
That's vicious.
But you gotta understand, not everybody is like Common, or not everybody is Black Thought. Not everybody like a lot of these guys, like we do freestyles every week on the show, and like sometimes it takes a while for people to know their shit. But I don't give, because I understand that like not everybody is the type of artist that could just give me 32 bars off of the fucking on the rip and like be flawless. Like, I'll take it. But I would say like 90% of our freestyles are at least 2 to 3 takes, maybe 5. Like, so if you see like a Bootleg Kev freestyle, like a lot of times it took a few times for them to get it. And I don't, but that's like not a fucking secret. Like all those XXL ciphers, all them dudes take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not fucking freestyles.
No.
Has anyone come to your shit and freestyle?
Yeah. Hella fools.
And really killed it though.
Who did it recently?
Is it because he's capping?
Audio push. Audio push.
Oh, that's fire. That's different. Well, it's not
tag.
different. Yeah, shout out to them. That's vicious.
Who else recently was going off the top that was killing it? I mean, there's a dude named Harry Mack, who's this white boy who is like super nat level freestyler.
That's vicious.
No, he's
rapping about anything.
He's sick as fuck. Omegle.
That's a crazy dude.
Connected with random.
Posted with Bootleg and his Daisy Dukes. And
you see me? Yep, I got Daisy Dukes on. Got the Hoochie Daddy shorts.
We need to get this for an Ithaca plug, my boy.
Nah. The Ethica, I got that. These are Ethicas I got on right here.
Where are the designed ones if you're going to flex them the whole interview?
No, these are Odd Socks, actually. Yo, fuck Ethica.
What? I can't let you disrespect the homies, G.
I'm kidding. I'm sponsored by Odd Socks, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Ithaca boys over here, my boy.
Nah, I have Odd Socks on my feet, and I'm 90% sure.
What's the best?
Those are definitely Ethicas.
That's right. What's the best interview you think you've ever done?
I don't know, man.
The biggest and the bestest. Separately. The biggest is the biggest. The bestest is the bestest.
The biggest, like, in terms of, like, personal interviews?
Yes.
Ooh. I mean, I interviewed Janet Jackson.
That is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
That was cool.
That's a collectible, baby.
I mean, I've interviewed
Janet Jackson, huh? Was that on the station or let me rephrase that.
On the Bootleg Kev podcast?
Yes, on the podcast. Yeah, the station, you're gonna get the bestest of the bestest.
On the podcast, in terms of like fame?
Yes.
Who do we have recently?
Just overall.
I don't know, bro. That's a weird, I don't even know. I know the most popular interview I've done on the podcast so far, because we launched the podcast in June of 2020. The most popular one was Iman Shumpert from the Cavaliers. Like, that shit got me like, I bought my house because of that interview.
I like it.
And it was in Burbank. It was not cheap.
Oh, a little flex. I feel it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, who have I interviewed, bro? I mean, I've interviewed like hella people who like DeVito, the Afrobeats artist, is so big worldwide. Like, he's like huge, like massive. Like, this dude does like fucking arenas, stadiums over in
I don't even know who the fuck you're talking about, respectfully.
Afrobeat shit. And then like, yeah, I don't know, bro. I've interviewed a lot of people.
What's your best to you? The one that holds the most value to you personally, aside from the Cavs one?
To say like the best, because I could just think of people who I enjoyed and like who's kind of on the top of my head.
Top 5.
I don't know, man.
No order.
I always love talking to. I always enjoy talking to Killer Mike.
That's right. He got a gang of epic gems all day, every day.
Jelly Roll was one of my favorite interviews I've done in a long time, and that's my brother for real, for real.
That's dope.
Recently, I really enjoyed the Mexican OT interview I did.
He's a crazy little dude.
Yeah, him and I have the same humor though.
I fuck with it.
So him and I are kind of like, I feel like we are like the same human kind of. We have like, I feel like he's a sick, I'm a sick, and we just have like the same type of humor. And he like loves like underground rap shit.
He does.
Once he told me like he was into Hobson and shit, I was like, oh, I know, yeah, that's tight. Because like I kind of come from that like kind of underbelly of hip hop a bit.
I totally feel it.
Yeah, I mean, I loved that interview. I've had really dope interviews with. I had a dope Rick Ross interview that I really enjoyed doing.
I've interviewed Rick Ross, the real.
I've interviewed him too. That was cool. Damn, I don't know, man. There's been like, what's the longest interview on the podcast? Because there's like, I really enjoyed doing my Iman Shumpert interview, which was one of my bigger ones. I just did DJ Muggs. That was fucking fire.
That's fire.
Fire.
That's a matter of fact. I'm gonna need you to plug me in, my boy.
Yo, the Muggs shit was amazing. I had just because I love Muggs.
That's legendary, dog.
Yeah, Muggs is. Oh, you know what interview I really enjoyed? Always, every time I interview Burner, it's great. I really enjoyed doing Mac 10 recently.
The Mac 10 one looked like it would have been dope. I've met him.
Yeah. Me and Hobson always have good interviews. The Kevin Gates interview I did was great. Glorilla, that was one of the best interviews I've done in a long time. Glorilla, Boozy. Boozy's always fun. Yeah. Jelly Roll. Yeah, I would say those are, I'm trying to just see. Sexy Red was hilarious. You know, I really always enjoy talking to Wack too. You know, Wack is always a fun hang.
Wack's a unique individual, to say the least.
Yeah. Got love for Wack. Good guy.
He's cool.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say? Why'd you laugh?
Wack's the internet master too. He's like I feel like Wack is turned into like a high level content creator somehow. Where like he understands. He's truly like approaching this shit from like he's a wrestling villain, and he knows that. So he just leans into everything.
I don't necessarily consume any Whack 100 content, but I'm highly familiar with the antics.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you gonna watch the show, Adam? It's not bad. It's pretty entertaining. I mean, he has said some disparaging stuff about the brown folks. But then he signed Coyote. Listen, yeah, let's just move on.
I feel it.
He said, I feel it.
I've had words or whatever on No Jumper. It is what it is. Yeah. Nothing came of it.
How is the No Jumper vibe for you?
It's fucking amazing.
Well, you've been there for both sides, like before.
I was there prior. It's cool. I with it.
Do you feel like the environment's improved from when it was all the drama? Everybody was rapping against each other and fools were getting beat up, and
I mean,
or is it the same?
I'm there for all of it, so I don't give a fuck. Nothing.
I'm saying, like, do you feel like the environment of the building, like the morale of the building, has gotten better?
I think the morale of the building is at an all-time high.
That's good.
Shout out to Sharp, Brick Baby, Suspect, Flacco.
Yeah, Flacco's a.
Shout out to my boy Big Josh, Joshy the Jew.
Josh, I can't say that.
That's my boy. That's his mobster name, fool.
I just feel like as a German white.
Oh shit, that's your op.
No, I just feel like I can't say Joshy the. I can't say that.
You could, fool. Don't make it racist.
Here, I'd say it.
That's my dog.
Like, hey, is it okay if I say it? Josh was great.
Josh is the man.
Hey, shout out to Josh. He's a sports head. We always talk sports. Good guy.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love all the new shit. I mean, look, I think you guys. I mean, No Jumper's killing it. You know,
I'm just a news guy.
You're the news guy.
I'm the news guy. Here,
sitting there with was a Flacco.
That fool's amazing.
Yeah,
that fool is amazing.
Yeah, I saw his crash out recently. Was it this week?
He crashes out to me every time because we always have race debates.
Hey, when that fool said, if these 10 YouTubers and he start naming all these, Drake wouldn't have a chance if we said we ain't him. And I was just like, wow.
Cap.
No, I just was like, wow. Like,
no, I'm saying that's impossible. Drake is Drake.
I was there just to be in the room with him. That statement is just like I respect your just the fact that you said that out loud. That's great. Like,
who are your top 5 Latin rappers ever? I know you mentioned Bash and
Big Pun.
Okay, valid.
Latin.
Latin. I know that's very all-encompassing. We're going to get real specific shortly here.
I would say Big Pun is number 1. Fat Joe is number 2.
Terror Squad owns the top spots.
I would say Be Real is number 3.
Dr. Green Thumb made the list. That's probably the best beat I ever heard come out of that fool's place.
Then Know Ya Clap. Let's see. So I said Be Real. I said Pun. I said Fat Joe. I'm trying to think Latin descent. There's a lot of guys who are like Dominican and Puerto Rican that you wouldn't even like really know. I think you got to put Nori in there.
Ooh.
I think CNN and NORE classic albums.
Facts.
The War Report, TONY is one of my favorite songs ever. And then I'm gonna say, who's fucking? I'm trying to think. Who else is up there, man? I'm just trying to remember who's of Latin descent.
We're going to narrow it down. Who are the best California Mexicans to you?
California?
California, baby.
Ever?
Okay, go ahead.
Or just like right now?
I want to tell you right now, but let's hear a mix.
I mean, all the time, I think you gotta, if we're talking about California, I think you gotta put Lil Rob up there. Because he's like, fucking Little Rob, bro. Shout out to 619. You know what I mean, that's Little Rob. Like, what was that dude's name? Omar Cruz could rap his fucking ass off.
You know what? Shout out to Omar Cruz. I met him in person after a million years at a Conejo event.
But I gotta put Be Real at number. Oh, I gotta put Be Real at number 1. Right? Yeah, Be Real's number 1.
Sure.
Number 2 would be Little Rob. Number 3, I would probably say, who's just fucking raw as fuck that I just like? There's a lot of guys, but I'm just thinking in terms of like the greatest, not necessarily like right now, but like overall, like the grand scheme of like.
I totally feel it.
Would you put
Impact?
Would
Go
you
ahead.
put Capone up there?
Capone, you mean?
Yes.
Is it Mr. Capone, Middle Eastern?
But he's still in that genre.
But
What do you say?
He said,
But we'll go ahead and include
That's
Mr.
valid.
Capone.
Mr. Capone the pass?
Sure.
We'll give him the pass.
Okay, then I'm gonna put King Lil G at 3.
Mm.
I'm gonna put Mr. Capone at 4.
Mm.
And number 5. I'm trying to think Bay. I'm trying to like I gotta give the Bay love, but who from the Bay would I even?
Realistically speaking, Burner's at least half Mexican.
Burner.
Wait. I gotta put Burner at number 2 over Lil
Valid.
Rob. So that's my 5. So number 1 would be number 1 is
Be Real.
Be Real. Then it's Burner. Then it's Little Rob. Then it's Mr. Capone. And who else did I say? King Lil G. No, King Lil G. Then Mr. Capone. Mr. Capone's 5. King Lil G's 4. Yeah, King Lil G's.
That's your list. Whatever.
Well, King Lil G's a fucking legend, bro. Like that is toured the country. He's making more money than everybody. Like he's a fucking
Those are the facts.
What about a top 5 in Texas?
Texas.
Yeah.
Shit.
Latinos.
I think Mexican OT is that motherfucker. I personally would say if you were to, well, first of all, you know what? I have to rewind the top 5 from California because Baby Bash is technically from Vallejo, not from Texas. So Mr. Capone just got knocked out of the top 5. My apologies, Capone. Also, you're not Mexican. So there's that. So technically, I didn't even need the pass to get him into my top 5.
They're gonna fucking talk shit and say it's because I used to be from Brownside.
Hey, so for your real top 5 Mexican rappers from California, just so we can all.
You already did good. Don't worry. We got a great editor.
Number 1, we got Be Real from Cypress Hill. Number 2 is Big Burner, one of the most amazing independent catalogs we've ever seen. This guy's got gold records. He's got a platinum record. Burner has he's just the goat. He's on the cover of Forbes, right?
Facts.
What are we talking about? All right. Number 3 is King Lil G. Number 4, who else did I say?
Lil Rob.
Oh wait, number 3 is Little Rob. Number 4 is King Lil G. Number 5 is number 4 is Baby Bash. Number 5 is King Lil G. Oh shit. Wait, Snow's from Texas though, or is she from Northern Cali?
I think she's from San Jose.
Oh my God. Okay, guys. We gotta bring it back in again. I was confused about Snow, San Jose or Texas, because I know she was in Texas. Well then Snow the Product, honestly.
Give her the 6th person.
No, she might be number 2 over Burner. Because she could really rap.
Damn, you got Be Real over Burner and Snow.
Yeah, Be Real's Be Real.
It's his list. Let him live his best life.
All right.
Let him rock.
New list. Damn. I'm so glad he said Snow. Number 1.
Who the said Snow? Chris?
Chris.
Sour apples in the building.
Number 1 is Be Real. Number 2 is Burner. Number 3 is Snow the Product. Number 4 is Baby Bash. I'm forgetting somebody.
And Little Rob.
Number 5 is Little Rob.
That's valid.
To me, that's a good 5. And you
take
cover all parts of the state, right?
I fuck with it.
Yeah, that's my final. Listen, when you put up this fucking reel, that's the 5. Shout out to Snow the Product, man. She's a sweetheart, and she's a beast. She can hold her own. She's fucking held her own with Tech 9, with fucking everybody. Like, she's got, people know, like, she's been doing a lot more Spanish shit lately, but she'd be really rapping. For real.
She's an elite level rapper, to say the very least.
Yeah, and she has crazy fans.
And like, you could never say, "Oh, she's good for a girl."
No,
nah,
she's
my
good
boy.
she's good.
She's.
Texas. He said Texas.
I think I've made a comment about Snow once about like some Chicano rap related shit, but she's still.
No, she's amazing. I first heard her on she had an MC Magic song called Diggin', Magic featuring Snow, and I was like, "Yo, Magic, who is this?" I thought it was a white person, because and then I got hip, and like then she was on Tech 9's album, and I was just like, "Damn, this girl can rap. She's fire." And her live show is have you been to a Snow the Product show? She's insane live.
I could imagine. Oh, she's down as shit for that.
She's sick.
Shout out to her having faith in her fans.
I mean, her fans love it. She's got a crazy following, bro.
That's fire.
Yeah. Shout out to.
I hope she's doing very well.
She is. She's definitely doing very well. But Texas. I think Texas. I guess if we're judging art, not artist, I would say you have to put.
Watch it.
Well, I'm not talking about the person and what they've done in their life. If we're talking about their influence in their music, South Park Mexican has to be in the top 5. Now, am I a fan of why he's in prison, and do I think he's a good guy? No, not necessarily. But SPM, it's like you can't take anything away from what R. Kelly did for R&B music. He's a piece of shit for sure, but he's still R. Kelly.
So, do you listen to SPM music when you're alone in your car?
No.
Who gets wiki?
But like I'll say this, like back in the day, there was like a show called Pocos Pero Locos that was on the radio.
Shout out to E-Dub.
Yeah, and so they would play like SPM
Kool-Aid.
and they play all that shit, but it was like I used to have to be the board op for that show. So I used to have to like load the show when I was doing like, early on in my career. So I would listen to all that shit. I personally think SPM's music is atrocious, but I respect like his mark for Dope House Records is like Dope House Records. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like helped start Baby Bash's career. Like the dude has like a real influence on like Latin hip hop. You can say what you want about it.
Texas hip hop.
Okay, Texas hip hop. You don't like him.
I don't give a fuck about that fool. It's just, over here in California, if you look like me, we can't fuck with fools like that, big
I
dog.
respect it. No, I'm saying just music influences whatever.
No, absolutely.
I'm taking out his personal shit. If we started judging by everybody,
I've never actually, honestly, with fucking around, guys, I know I always fuck, anytime brings it up, I obviously bring up the charges, it's just something I got to do. Respectfully, I never really listened to his music. And then I didn't even know about his fucking charges until maybe 10 years ago.
I never was into his music. I just know that it hit AZ heavy. They loved him there.
That's amazing for him.
So
It's too bad he likes kids.
I actually think that Mexican OT's gonna probably end up being like the greatest Mexican rapper of all time eventually. So I think he's number 1
From Texas.
ever already.
I feel it.
So, OT, SPM.
Who else?
That's so crazy. You're crazy.
Peso. Is that's the guy you shot a video for? Sauce Walker's guy? I mean, he's moving. That's all I got, dude. I'm not as hip to like the Texas. Oh wait, who else is from Texas?
D Baby.
Yeah, for sure. D Baby's dope. Wait, who else? I'm trying to think from back in the day though. It's crazy because back in the day, the main Latin.
Oh boy.
Dice Soho.
Gotti, some Gotti. Juan Gotti, nah.
Oh,
Juan Gotti's shout to Juan Gotti, no cap. And Lucky.
Lucky. What's his name? Lucky Luciano? He used to do shit with Yeah, I mean, I would also say, like, even though I think he's like, him and I have like a beef, and he's always trolling me because I.
Who?
Chingo Bling.
Why do you guys have beef?
I don't know.
Is it political?
Yeah, because I tweeted, like, when did Chingo Bling become a MAGA weirdo? I don't know.
You don't f with President Trump?
I don't f with neither. I'm a neither. Yeah, I'm not a Trump guy at all, though.
Are you red or
Trump's
blue?
Terrible. I mean, I voted for Joe Biden last time. I wouldn't vote for him again, though.
So you're a Democrat or you're a Republican? Do you even talk about this question?
Historically, I've been a Democrat my whole life.
Crazy.
But I'm a registered independent.
Kev, I like it. I respect the narrative.
But Joe Biden's terrible.
This shit is crazy, bro.
I was just telling this to my boy, and because I think each one of Trump and Biden are historically terrible presidents for different reasons, right? I think that Donald Trump normalized a lot of behavior in our country.
Facts.
And he brought out a lot of like fringe weirdo, like
I respect that.
the QAnon shit is just ridiculous. Like these usually try to take the Capitol over on January 6th, right? Like say whatever you want about like whatever conspiracy theories you got, like this should happen. Like, so I think like he activated like an ugly part of our country that I can't fuck with, you know? I mean, I have a son who's half black. Like I just can't fuck with like the normalization of some of the shit that he made okay. On the other hand, he is wildly entertaining.
Facts.
He's like a stand-up comedian. I just feel like he gets up on stage and he'd just be riffing. If I was from a different country, I would just laugh and point. But I live here and I'm just like, oh, this is the guy? Ugh. You know, fast forward to Joe Biden, who I voted for. I think
Horrible decision.
I think he's about to die. I think he's barely hanging on.
He's like one slip and fall away from a hip.
And I just think one day we're just gonna like, yo, he died in his sleep today. You know, like, damn. Like, I don't know. I just think he's done just terrible policy things. I think, you know, the way we pulled out of Afghanistan, atrocious atrocity in our country. I think this is bullshit.
Facts.
I think that the fact it took him almost 2 weeks to go to Maui and visit the people of Lahaina, and while you're sending all this money to Ukraine, you give each one of these households $700 when they're
That was
livelihood
crazy.
just got burnt to dust. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. So I don't fuck with neither. I like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And I like Cornel West. And Cornel West is running the Green Party. If I had to vote, if it's Biden and Trump, I'm just voting a third party. I'm not. I won't vote for either of them. I've decided for the rest of my life I'm not doing the lesser of two evil things. I'm just either not going to vote, or I'm going to write somebody in I like, or I'm going to vote for whoever the third party is. So both.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to leave the people with before we clock out? Actually, do you got any questions for this fine gentleman before we do that?
Yeah, can you talk to us about your artist, Alexis?
Yeah. Shout out to Alexis. Alexis, he's from Phoenix. He's a dope singer songwriter. I always describe him as kind of like the Latin Post Malone. Super talented kid. We got a new album on the way. We got an album out that came out last year.
That's right.
Called Life Goes On. T-Pain, Snow the Products on it. Rucci was on it. We got another record that's his biggest record's got Wiz and Cap G on it. But this new album is coming soon. We got some big features. We're about to drop the first single, hopefully in the next month. We're waiting for Simba to give us his verse. So yeah,
That's fire.
go follow him, Alexis, Alexcis, wrote it on Instagram.
That's right.
So
We look forward to having him up here really soon.
yeah, if you guys really he's as you would say a sick ass fool for real. You know what I mean? Ask him about bootlegging OnlyFans content on Reddit. Ask him about that.
I plan to
Yeah.
archive that.
Yeah, because also just ask him why he's banned on Cash App, because I actually don't know. So now that you know that he's banned on Cash App,
I'm going to get it out of him. Don't trip.
also ask him why he can't open a bank account.
Is he in town?
Yeah, he's in LA.
Oh, perfect. We're going to have him up here in a couple
Just
of
be like,
days.
Kev said you can't open a bank account. Do you know why? Because I actually don't know why.
I'm gonna get to the bottom
Like
of that.
we tried to
shit.
open a bank account together, and like he can't.
You tried several banks?
So my friend's a manager at B of A.
Oh, and he still couldn't.
No, she was like, oh no, he can't. So yeah, that'd be a good thing. Just throw the boomerang at him.
See what happens.
Yeah,
See what comes back.
great guy, great kid,
Absolutely.
alien talent, and you know he loves soccer. So and he loves country music, and yeah.
Is there anything you want to leave the people with before we clock out, sir?
Just check out the Bootleg Kev podcast. We're on the radio in like 5 cities now. So if you're on in any of the cities I'm on the radio every day in a bunch of cities. LA, fucking on the West Coast, Ventura, Portland, Phoenix, Vegas. So go check the show out, San Diego. And yeah, subscribe. And yeah, man, shout out to the food community. I'm a fan of the page. I shout y'all out a lot, I think. I've shouted y'all out a few times.
Highly appreciated.
Never saw any of those clips.
I think he's posted.
I don't think so.
I think I think somebody. Yeah, no, you're full of shit.
For sure.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he posted something where.
He even fucking just went with it right now. Otherwise, he would have been like, "Nah, yeah, for
Yeah, you know
sure."
why? Because it was the staff. It was the staffers, bro.
Oh, that was fucking great.
It was the staffers. My question to you is: you guys had Gabriel Iglesias,
Yes.
which is a big deal. How do you feel about the Skid Row down there? Was he just like?
He was totally with it.
Did he like get recognized by any of the fucking crackheads?
You want to know what? It happened all so fast. I think he got parked in a special place.
Oh, okay. Because that'd be hilarious. Like trying to walk him in, and like some fool's like holding the tinfoil and a torch, and he's like, "Oh shit, Fluffy!"
That would have been crazy.
Oh, that'd have been sick.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah. Shout out to the torch holders out there. Yeah.
We highly appreciate you for coming out here today, my brother. We look
They all
forward to
fentanyl kids. That's all I got for you.
facts.
Yeah.
It's another episode of the Food Community. We got the legendary Bootleg Kev. We got the Wizard of the Foods back there, Rich Homie Juan, and I am LA Icon, and we're out, G.
Boom.